So he says, you know what? I spoke to you about the Nyagroda tree, right? I spoke to you about the Nyagroda tree that is right in front of you. Now I'm going to ask you to do an experiment. So the next two examples are beautiful, and I'm hoping that we will be able to cover this today. So the next two examples are practical examples. So Uddalaka then gives instruction to his son Shvetaketu to do a practical example to illustrate this Antaryamitva of the Supreme and the omnipresence of the Supreme. So he says, Nyagrodha palam ata ahara idam bhagava iti. So okay, let's do the dialogue. So what Uddalaka says is, you know that Nyagrodha, where there was this beehive and the bee, and that I described you how the tree oozes in different places. Go and get something. Nyagrodha phalam ata ahara iti. So Nyagrodha phalam, I've given you a picture there. He says, look, our tree, go and get that fruit. Nyagrodha phalam ata ahara. Ahara means bring. So Shvetaketu will say, idam bhagavaiti. So he climbs up the tree, he picks up the Nyagrodha fruit, brings it and gives it to his dad. And the dad says, Binditi, break it open. Binna Bhagavaiti. So he breaks it open. So Uddalaka asks him, Kim atra pashyasi iti. What do you see? Kim atra pashyasiti. So Shvetaketu says, Anvya ivema dana Bhagavaiti. I'm seeing a lot of seeds in this Ashwatha, in this Nyagrodha phalam. Okay. Asam angaikam binditi. So Uddalaka then says, okay, take one seed. Asam angaikam binditi. And break open one seed. So Shvetaketu, with great labor, he picks up one seed and then he breaks it open. And he says, Binna Bhagavaiti, here you go, I've broken up the seed. I could not find a Nyagrodha seed, but I've just given you another seed that is broken open so that you get an idea what is going on here. So our Shvetaketu breaks open the small seed. Kim atra pashyasi? Uddalaka says, what do you see now? Shvetaketu says, Nakinchana Bhagavaiti. I can't see anything. I opened the seed, I've broken it open, but I can't see anything. Okay, so this is a very important event in the philosophy of Uddalaka. And why is it very important? I'll come to the next verse and then go back again. So Uddalaka says, Tamho vacha yamvai somya animanam na nibalayase etasya vai somya animna evam maha nyagrodha tishtati shraddasva somya iti is his next statement. So what is the implication of that? To understand that, let us go back here. And I am taking, because we are talking about the tree, we should always think about the pindanda, us. So I'm just giving a man and a woman. I'm giving eggs and a sperm, and you go into it. You have the DNA. Then you split the DNA. What do you have got? You got 4 nuclear bases. Yeah, you have 4 bases. This is not uracil. This is an RNA. So this has to be thymine here. That's a typo. Okay, so I have to take next proper Google image. So this has to be thymine in the DNA. Uracil is only in the mRNA. So you have 4 bases. So you break open. That is exactly what it is. So when you break open and you come to just this DNA and you look at these 4 bases alone, okay. So this is what is Shvetaketu is also, that is what Uddalaka is illustrating by taking this seed. You open the seed. Can you see anything inside the seed? No. Okay. Then Uddalaka says, my dear son, tamho vacha yamvai somya animanam na nibalayase. So whatever subtle thing that was there in that seed, na nibalayasya, you were not able to even perceive that subtle force that is inside the seed. Yetasya vai somya esha animna, by this subtle force, evam mahanyagrodha tishtati. Inside that small seed, you could not see anything. But from that thing that you could not see anything has come this huge Nyagrodha tree. How wonderful is that? And when you look at that from a human perspective, you got this tiny DNA, you break it open, there is nothing in it, it is just 4 bases. But upon fertilization, what comes out from that process is this amazing baby that comes out, like this Mahanyagrodha, that vriksha. How did that happen? That seed, if it did not have something subtle in it, how can that become into a Nyagrodha tree? So that is what Uddalaka is asking Shvetaketu to think about. Yeah. So if that vital forces were not there inside the seed, the tree is not going to come. So Uddalaka's view there is, you can't even see the jiva that is there inside the seed. How are you able to see the antaryamin who is inside the jiva? Yeah. So that is one way of looking at this. Why? Yam vai somya yetam animanam na nibalayasa. You cannot see the subtle and the subtlest when you break the seed. Yetasya vai somya esho animna evam mahanyagrodha tishtati. That subtle and the subtlest is responsible for the tree, and you have not been able to see. So in that example, this subtle, that animna is that tat. Okay, tvam is this mahanyagrodha. Yeah, shraddhasva somya iti. Trust me on this view. Yeah, he stresses that very well. Shraddhasva somya. Shraddha, as you know, is firm conviction, faith. Have faith in this philosophy, Shvetaketu. Why? Because I have already told you before. Tesham kalvesham bhutanam trinieva bijani bhavanti andajam jivajam udbijjam iti. I've told you this before. Remember that. Have this firm faith, because every living entity, be it viviparous, oviparous, plants, they all come out into this beautiful, bodies, because there is this soul, and inside the soul is the antaryamin, and this antaryamin ultimately is responsible for the seed to evolve into a big body. So when you look at from a medical perspective, it's all good to say that there are all this genomic DNA that is there. There are all these various transcription factors, and during embryogenesis, these transcription factors, they switch on and off and in a particular sequence, and that leads to various protein productions that gives you this baby eventually. That is all well and good. But as philosophers, what we should be asking is, who made that program? How did that transcriptional programming happen that allows this beautiful baby to be born? That is the philosophy there that Uddalaka is asking. So in that concept, what we should understand is that the subtle being who is there, who is responsible for bringing about this humongous material world and also our body. So from avyakta comes the vyakta. So from that unmanifest, you see the manifest. Yeah. Asadva idamagra asid, says Taittiriya Upanishad. So that asadva there is from the unmanifest comes this manifested universe. And that supreme being is always unmanifested for us. And it is from him who is responsible for this whole universe to come into being, is another way of looking at the Taittiriya Upanishad by the example that is given by Uddalaka. So when he has said that, he stresses the Shraddhastva Somyati. Trust me, this is the truth. Have faith in my words, Shvetaketu. This is the ultimate truth, because this Supreme, who is your Antaryamin, is the source of creation. Therefore, Saya Esha Anima Etadatmyam idam sarvam tat satyam sa atma Tat Tvam Asi. So when you look at this last verse, every time you have to go back to the example and get a new philosophy out of it. So there you can understand there is this concept of anima. This anima he has used here as well in this verse. And in the conclusion, he says the same, Saya Esha Anima. So who is this anima? What is the etymology? Anutvena meya. He is so subtle and he can be known only through subtle knowledge. Anayati ma. He is the one that controls everyone. Anu ma. We are called Anu. So Katha Upanishad, as you know, says Anor Aniyan. So there in that Anus, he is Aniyan, means Anu there is Jiva, and Aniyan means the Antaryamin. So Anor Aniyan means Anu is Jiva. So this Jiva alone can know this Anima, which means a non-material entity alone can know the non-material Antaryami. Okay, so when you link up all this Katha Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, and our own biology, and what example that Uddalaka has taken, from where I see it, it fits in perfectly well. Again, here, after having spoken about ignorance, he is now bringing about concepts of knowledge. How do you understand? He took those Jivan Shravet with the Nyagroda tree, and you're hitting it in various portions. Now he has taken the same fruit. Nyagroda phalam ata ahara iti. Get the same fruit. Let me explain to you another philosophy. And he tells, look, you broke open the seed, you saw nothing. But it is those vital forces that you were not able to see. It is because of that this huge tree has come into being. Have faith in that philosophy, because that is how it is for the rest of creation. HinduKnowledgeAcademy.com will celebrate Vedic culture and present its philosophies to the modern Hindu in an accessible format. Our ancient heritage is our greatest strength. Through preservation and dissemination, together let us spread positivity in the world. Thank you for listening and welcome to Hindu Knowledge Academy.